What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Growth by Shawn podcast. If you are watching on the YouTube, really appreciate you guys. If you have not already, liked, subscribe, make sure you help this independent podcast and myself continue to grow, to continue to bring value, continue to bring on amazing guests. So today we are going to get into 5 ways to maximize your sleep. Your sleep, your recovery, your nervous system, your hormones, they all play a role in your sleep. When you are waking up the next day, ravenous, hungry throughout the day, right? You haven't gotten a ton of water in. That can also be because of poor sleep. My favorite analogy, if you even want to call it an analogy to use with people, is there is a reason that, and this can get vulgar, but there's a reason that torturing someone is depriving them of sleep. So let's start to take it seriously, all right? If you're waking up ravenous and hungry throughout the day and you had poor sleep, you're constantly producing hormones as you sleep. If you're not producing those hormones to a maximized level, it can leave you hungry and ravenous the next day. I love to use the word ravenous. So the first thing that I want to go over that can maximize your sleep, having a set bedtime and wake up time. Getting onto a rhythm of having those same metrics, same bedtime, same wake up time, can really help regulate your nervous system and the way that you produce cortisol. You're going to produce cortisol the most in the morning because it's a stress hormone that's going to help wake you up. At night, that's when you want to start to manage cortisol. Now, cortisol is not the end all be all, but as your cortisol spikes, it's going to be harder to get a good quality night's sleep. I'm going to go over this more during the fourth or fifth thing, during the fourth little lesson here. And so the second thing that I want you to do is get sunlight immediately in the morning, okay? Your circadian rhythm, your body is very smart. It knows when it wants to wake up. It knows when it wants to go to sleep, right? You know when you feel tired. You know when you feel energized, all of these different factors. Instead of immediately going on your phone, and I know that this is difficult, we even use our phones as an alarm, but keeping it across the room, keeping it in the bathroom, using an alarm clock, these are simple, easy tips that you can start to use today to make sure that you're not immediately just going into blue light, all right? And then making sure that you're not starting the day by just comparing yourself to someone else. Even if you just hop on social media immediately and you're not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna go compare myself to everyone else today. Well, even at a subconscious level, that is what's happening because you're intaking so much information. Getting sunlight is one of the most important things that you can do. If you wanna go full woo-woo and say, hey, our bodies can heal each other, heal ourselves, and everything that is going on can be healed from within, bro, sunlight and getting your feet in the grass, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, can make a huge difference to how your circadian rhythm is, and then how it starts to develop. And then even just not needing that initial first cup of coffee, delaying that 30, 60, 90 minutes can play a huge role in your energy levels for the entire day. The third thing that we need to go over is to eat and drink enough, okay? Have you ever tried to go to bed on an empty stomach? It's very difficult. And I'm not talking about when you're fasting and things like this because that's a different intention. Intention is one of the best things that you can have for your life. If you operate with intention, then things will start to change and manifest for yourself. So eating and drinking enough throughout the day will just make sure that you're not going to bed and all you can think about is how your stomach is rumbling. Now, there's different parts of this to a physiological sense, but I'm not going to go super into that just because I'm not the most knowledgeable person in that area, and I like to only talk about the ways that have benefited myself, benefited my clients, and things that I know, not try to get out of my realm and explain all the physiological factors that are happening when you're eating protein, carbs, fat, okay? So, but again, proper hydration and proper amount of nutrients throughout the day can help lead to a much greater sleep. So I'm actually going to switch 4 and 5. The fourth one I'm going to use is develop a nighttime routine. Think about when you go and talk to a certain person and you can feel your heart rate start to elevate. Now, bear with me with where I'm going with this. Your heart rate starts to elevate. You're getting anxious, right? Even if you don't experience this immediately at nighttime, or that anxiousness or the thoughts running through your head, right? Your nervous system is telling you something because it is familiar to the body. When I talk to this person, my nervous system is uncomfortable. And so if you can start to develop a nighttime routine, this will help tell your nervous system, okay, hey, it is time for bed. It is time to stop producing so much cortisol, so much stress, and make it so that when you actually go to sleep, you fall asleep. Now, this ties directly into the fifth and final thing. Take time to de-stress and shut off your phone. If you sat and journaled for even just, if you're constantly watching TV, excuse me, constantly on your phone, things like this, blue light, it's producing cortisol. You're stressed from that state, okay? So taking time to de-stress, people you may have heard before, get off your phone 1 hour before you go to bed. Stop watching TV 1 hour before you go to bed. For me, sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. It depends on the day. It depends how I feel, right? But when you're prioritizing your sleep, if you're on your phone or on the computer or watching TV all the way up, just get off 15 minutes before. 15 minutes before and say, you know, I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock, so I'm going to get off at 9:45. And if you have a small little nighttime routine, great. Maybe it's just brushing your teeth, right? But then what you can do is go and start to journal just about your thoughts, feelings, emotions. There is a huge inside component to all of this physical changes that we have as well. Sure, the calories, the food, the micronutrients, the fiber. But what about your emotional state? What about your emotional well-being? When you can start to take care of yourself more in those aspects, I can promise you that things will start to change for you, okay? Guys, if you found this helpful, please screenshot it, share it on your Instagram stories, your Facebook stories, DM it to a friend, someone that you know is only getting 4 hours of sleep every night. Guys, thank you so much for being here for another episode of the Growth by Shawn podcast. Peace out.